Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to Central Illinois Sports broadcast of the 1A Boys Basketball Regional Semifinals from Payson Seymour High School here on the far west end of Pike County. Brian Shoemaker alongside with Damon Emmerich and Gavin Hildenbrink as we get you ready for semifinal 1 of 2 tonight between the top-ranked team in Class 1A, according to Aaron Britton's Nesto Hoops poll, the New Berlin Pretzels, and they'll take on the host school here tonight in the Payson Seymour Indians. Coming up afterwards, it'll be the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes taking on the Triopia Trojans in our second semifinal. We also remind you that Charlie Hull and Jack Hull are live from Camp Point Central tonight, as they've got 2 semifinals from the Camp Point Regional, where the Central Panthers will take on the Unity Mustangs, and the Augusta Southeastern Suns will take on the Bushnell Prairie City Spartans in the nightcap over at Camp Point. You can put one on your TV, one on your tablet, and enjoy both here tonight on Central Illinois Sports. We're going to take a quick break and tell you about some of the wonderful sponsors who are making tonight's broadcast possible. When we come back, we'll get you ready for semifinal number 1 here at Payson. It's the Payson Seymour Indians and the New Berlin Pretzels. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Wish you had extra cash for a vacation, a boat, a new car, projects around the house? Free up more cash for the things you want by taking advantage of low interest rates. Refinance your home with Great Rivers Bank and keep more of your money by lowering your monthly payment. Start the process online at greatriversbank.bank and work with one of our experienced loan officers to get the lowest rate possible. Great Rivers Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Did you know that Prairie Land FS doesn't just sell seed? They treat it and box it right here at one of their local facilities, then deliver it to your farm or fields. Growers trust Prairie Land FS to deliver top-performing crop protection products that promise the best performance before, during, and after the growing season. Prairie Land FS, your leading supplier of choice.
Hey, West Central Illinois, are you looking for a great deal on a vehicle? Well, at Westtown Ford, we have a lot full of vehicles. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. We've got them all, and a lot of them at Westtown Ford in Jacksonville.
Since 1921, Farmers State Bank of Camp Point has been a vital part of our community's history. We are proud of our growth, our community leadership, and our success, which is only possible because of all those who shared this journey with us. We are grateful to the generations of loyal customers, families, businesses, employees, officers, and directors who have shaped not only our story, but our entire communities. Thank you. We look forward to serving you and your future generations for the next 100 years. Farmers State Bank and Camp Point. Together, we are a strong, united community.
Welcome you back here on the Great Rivers Bank pregame show. Great Rivers Bank with locations in Pittsfield, Barry, Liberty, and Hannibal, here to help you with your lending and personal banking needs. Our friendly service and dedicated loan officers can help you through buying a home, opening a business, or making a deposit. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Damon Emmerich alongside with me tonight as we get ready for the Payson Seymour Indians at 15-15, taking on the New Berlin Pretzels with a record of 26 wins and 6 losses, and currently the top-ranked team in the state of Illinois in Class 1A, Damon Emmerich. This is a Payson Seymour team that we've seen win 10 games in a row and lose 10 games in a row this season. It has been a tale of 2 seasons for this team. And if you are a Payson Seymour fan, you're hoping to see that team that won 10 games in a row here tonight show up to take on this Pretzel squad.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we need to take away from that Payson Seymour regular season is even though they had a 10-game losing streak there towards the end of the season, the average margin of defeat in those games was only 10 points, and a couple of those defeats were skewed. I mean, they were quite a bit larger margins. So if you take those few games out of there, really Payson was in every game that they lost this year. And we saw that they took a Route Catholic squad to a 3-point game in the Winchester Invitational Tournament. Route Catholic finished amongst the top teams in 1A in the final regular season poll. So this Payson team is dangerous, and they're dangerous even more so because they're playing on their home court. So they know what to expect here. They're going to have the home court advantage. They've got the fans behind them. The big key for them is going to be to come out and make sure they don't let the New Berlin Pretzel squad take a lead early on.
You talk about some of those challenges they had in the second half of the season, Damon. Of course, they took Route Catholic down to the wires. You mentioned at Winchester. They also took Lake Forest Academy into a 5-point overtime loss. That was in a shootout all the way upstate in Chicago. They've had a lot of those close games here in the second half of the year. Lost to Brown County by 1 point. lost to Griggsville Perry by 14 after having a pretty nice little fight with them through most of the game. So you've got to say, what's the big key here tonight for the Payson Seymour Indians? I think a lot of it's going to rely on the shoulders of the big senior, Brian Deeker.
Yeah, Brian Deeker's played extremely well this year at that Lake Forest shootout. He was the leading scorer amongst all teams there, including several Division I players. Brian Deeker, sometimes you don't even know he's out on the court. He's just a nice athlete. He's smooth, but at times he can be too unselfish. And when it gets to postseason and playing with a chance to knock off the #1 team in the state, you can't come out and be too unselfish. You've got to take your opportunities when you get them.
Payson Seymour is a team that likes to play fast. They like to run fast. They like to shoot fast. We have seen this team take a lot of one-pass shots up in the air. A lot of those are going to be three-pointers, Damon Emmerich, because they like to penetrate into the lane. They like to kick out, and they've got some nice pieces on the outside in Wyatt Nyson and Lane Barker and Blake Schwartz who can knock that shot down.
Yeah, they do, but when you're playing against the New Berlin Pretzel squad who only gave up 34 points per game, it tells you a couple of things. It tells you that New Berlin values the basketball. They value possession basketball. It also tells you that they're not afraid to guard. So Payson Seymour, they're going to have to try to get out in transition, but if they don't get that quick bucket, then they're going to have to do a good job taking care of the basketball because New Berlin is going to guard them, and they're going to guard them hard the entire game.
Big key tonight for Payson Seymour, you've got to keep Brian Deeker on the floor. We've seen what happened in this team lately. If he gets into foul trouble and he has to sit a little bit, ball handling responsibilities probably go to Wyatt Nyson at that point. And it's not to say anything bad against Wyatt Nyson. He's a great kid. He's had a wonderful senior season, but this team is just entirely different without number 10 on the floor. And it gets a little more difficult for this team to get into any sort of offensive rhythm when he's not the one starting up the offense. On the defensive side for Payson Seymour, you see a lot of what you used to see under Brian Ray. You see a lot of jump trap press. You see a lot of half-court jump trap, and you like to see guys hustle after it. They've got a real defensive bulldog in Richie Martin. You're going to see some other guys come off the floor in Connor Howell, Brody Deeker, the younger brother, of course, of Brian Deeker. And you're going to see some other guys here who will chip in valuable minutes tonight, Damon, as when you get into these situations, you don't want to say they almost have to play a perfect game to upset a team like New Berlin, but by gosh, it's got to be pretty close.
Well, you've got to limit your turnovers. You've got to value the basketball. Make sure that you're taking smart shots. And like we talked about when we had our broadcast on Saturday, you've got to take shots within the flow of the offense. And that's going to be a big key here for this Payson Seymour squad. But like you said, we're accustomed to the defense that we're seeing because head coach Tyler Dushinsky, a product of the Andy Douglas coaching tree. Andy Douglas and Brian Ray always ran similar defenses, and the key is to try to get you to turn the ball over. But it's not only that, but it is to slow the game up because they'll run a 1-2-2. It may be a full court, it may be three-quarter court, but they want to slow the ball, slow the game up, try to get you into turnovers, and take advantage of you from there.
You're watching the Great Rivers Bank pregame show as we get you ready for the New Berlin Pretzels and the Payson Seymour Indians here in regional semifinal number 1 at Payson. We'll take a 2-minute break and we'll introduce you to the New Berlin Pretzels when we come back here on Central Illinois Sports.
Seed selection is one of the important decisions required to achieve yield goals. Logan Agri-Service represents top seed lines in the industry like Lewis Hybrids, Stein Seed, and AgriGold, and focuses on products developed to meet or exceed our customers' expectations. Sit down with one of our experienced local seed experts who will work with you to help select top-producing corn hybrids and soybean varieties tailored for your specific soils and fertility levels. Or visit us online at loganag.com. Logan Agri-Service, serving agriculture since 1962.
Rough day at work? We all have them from time to time. But the last thing you want to worry about is coming home to your internet being out. Or even worse, waiting all day to watch the big game, only to find out it's blacked out. With Cascom, those worries are a thing of the past. Our local technicians are here to service any issues and ensure you have a worry-free experience, whether it be internet, TV, or even home phone. Call Cascom today at 1-800-252-1799 to schedule or upgrade your internet and TV service.
Rewards checking, I'm not sure if there's a better checking account around.
They have 3 requirements each month, and if they meet those requirements, we will pay them the highest checking account interest rate that we have right now.
At this time, it is a very generous 4.07 APY.
As far as ID Secure goes,
it gives you protection with credit monitoring, cell phone protection.
Prevent identity theft at a reasonable cost.
It's watching out for you.
And every 90 days you get an update on it, so the peace of mind of that's very nice.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Here at Mountain Dew, it's easy to tell who really loves the outdoors. For one thing, there's the rack on your car and the hitch on the back of your truck. There's your garage full of toys, from dirt bikes to wakeboards. And there's your cooler full of Mountain Dew, always at the ready. Because when it's time to get out there, climb into your deer stand or your fishing boat, a cooler of ice-cold Mountain Dew, that's as important a piece of outdoor gear as your spinning rod or your four-wheeler. Mountain Dew. Get out and do.
Welcome you back on the Great Rivers Bank pregame show. It's Central Illinois Sports broadcast of the 1A regional semifinals as we get you ready for the Payson Seymour Indians and the top-ranked team in Class 1A, according to Aaron Britton's Nesto Hoops poll. The New Berlin Pretzels, a record of 26-6. They defeated Pleasant Hill easily, 57-19. In Saturday's regional quarterfinals, this has been a team that has been the talk of the land of Lincoln all year long here in small school basketball. They started winning their first 8 games of the season, including the Gene Bergschneider Thanksgiving tournament at New Berlin, where they defeated Jacksonville Rout in overtime. After that, a couple of losses to state perennial powers, Pinckneyville and Madison. Now, those are 2 losses that you're not going to shrug your shoulders at, Damon, because those are 2 really darn good teams in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, and that's the type of competition you're going to run into if you want to advance in this postseason tournament. So kudos to the Pretzels of New Berlin. They've scheduled some tough competition. Some of that route they match up with on a regular basis, but going out and matching up against Pinckneyville and Madison, those are big keys, big tests for your team early on. And they, even though they came away with a defeat, that was good experience, and they played tough games in those matchups.
Some of the other losses, of course, came to Pontiac, who has had one of the best seasons that Pontiac has had in very, very long time. Also took a loss to beat a very underrated Salt Fork team, who I believe you're going to see make a deep postseason run this year, Damon. That's a really darn good team. They beat just 2 weeks ago in a shootout. New Berlin is a team that you've kind of got everything you want in a 1A basketball squad. They've got talented guards. They're very disciplined offensively, and they've got a lot of height that likes to play inside. They pride themselves on defense, and Damon, you mentioned it, the big challenge for this Payson Seymour squad, they've got to score some points because New Berlin doesn't give up very many in a ball game.
Well, and when you're going up against a team that's got size at all 5 positions when they're out there on the floor, it's going to be key for Payson Seymour to limit the second chance opportunities for New Berlin. So Payson's got a big test here today if they want to try to knock off the top-ranked team in 1A. And for New Berlin, they've got a difficult task here as well because they're coming in when you're being headhunted all the time as the top team in state, the number 1 team here in this regional. They've got to come out and be ready to play because they're facing a tough Payson Seymour squad on Payson Seymour's home court.
They've got a big 3-headed monster by the way of Lucas Bixby, the 6'4" junior forward, along with a couple of really talented guards in Gannon Dodd. He'll also be on the inside a little bit, and their main man, Kevin Howell, in the backcourt. This is a team that does not shoot a lot of three-pointers, only takes about a dozen a game, so expect to see a slow-down game from New Berlin, expect to see a lot inside within the arc, and expect to see a lot outside on the arc from Payson Seymour. We're going to step away for the national anthem. When we come back, it's the Pretzels and the Indians you're watching live here on Central Illinois Sports.
Yeah, I'm at Farm and Home for Essentials.
Did you find everything you need?
No, apparently not. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about.
No other place has it all like Farm and Home Supply.
At Game Masters in Quincy,
we're passionate about the outdoors.
Game Masters has the largest selection of gun safes in the tri-state area. That's right, everything from the vaults, vault doors, and safe accessories. Only the quality brands like Fort Knox, American Security, Browning, and Liberty. Come in and check out the displays or go to GameMastersOutdoors.com to check out the selection online as well.
Clothing, fishing, hunting, gifts, and more.
We're passionate about the outdoors.
Time for starting lineups tonight, brought to you by Farm and Home Supply. From snacks and hoodies to power tools and lawn chairs, no other place has it all like your local Farm and Home Supply. Starting lineup tonight for the visitors on the scoreboard, dressed in blue and white, will be the Payson Seymour Indians, a record of 15-15. Tyler Dushinsky, the head coach. Their starting lineup looks like this. At one guard, a 6-foot senior, number 3 is Richie Martin. At one guard, a 5'9 sophomore, number 4 is Lane Barker. At the guard, a 6'1 senior, number 10 is Brian Deeker. At the other guard, a 6'2 senior, number 12 is Wyatt Nyson. And at guard, a 6'1 sophomore, number 23 will be Blake Schwartz. It'll be Martin, Barker, Deeker, Nyson, and Schwartz for the 15-15 Payson Seymour Indians. Starting lineups now for the New Berlin Pretzels, dressed in white with dark purple numbers and orange trim tonight. Blake Lucas, the head coach. Their record looks like this. At one guard, a 5'9 senior will be number 4, Kevin Howell. At guard, a 6-foot senior, number 11 is Ben Hermes. At forward, a 6-foot senior, number 15 is James Moore. At one forward, a 6'4 junior is number 21, Lucas Bixby. And at forward, a 6'4 junior, number 33 is Gannon Dodd. It'll be Howell, Hermes, Moore, Bixby, and Dodd for the 26 and 6 New Berlin Pretzels. We remind you, Jack and Charlie Hall over at Camp Point Central tonight is Unity and Camp Point Central getting the tip-off there as well. Put one on your TV, put one on your phone or your tablet, and you can keep track with both tonight here on Central Illinois Sports. Winner goes to the championship game Friday night. We're so glad to bring it alongside to you, Brian Shoemaker, Damon Emmerich, Gavin Hilgenbrink running our camera tonight. As stepping into the center circle is going to be Wyatt Nyson for Payson and Lucas Bixby, the 6'4 junior for New Berlin. We're getting ready to tip it off, and here we go. It is a packed house here already as we've got fans all around here in the pit-shaped gymnasium at Payson Seymour. New Berlin will win the tip. Zone look here from Payson Seymour to kick things off as the basketball now goes down to Howell, and he hands it back over to Dodd as they work around the perimeter. Down into the left corner, Howell gets double teamed. They've got to work it back around quickly to the right side. This is Hermes. Hermes takes a couple of dribbles, tries to find more inside, gets him in the short corner. Nice little stop here so far by Payson Seymour. Down to the basketball in the corner, cross-court pass stolen away by Deeker. It's a turnover, the first of the game for New Berlin. Payson Seymour gets a chance to strike for first blood here tonight on their home court. Basketball over to Schwartz now on the right side. Kicks it back up to Nyson, top of the key. Man-to-man look here for New Berlin. We remind you, they only give up 34 points a game. They get it down to Deeker, short corner. No good. Deeker goes off. Rebound comes down into the hands of Gannon Dodd, his first of the basketball game. Just underway here, 7:05. You're watching live on Central Illinois Sports. Tell a friend. This is where you can watch tonight and Friday's regional action here from the Payson Seymour Regional. Basketball now goes over to the left side as they work it down into Hermes. He's got nowhere to go with it. Picks up the dribble, now kicks it down into the corner to Howell. Tries to dribble through defenders, nothing there. Hermes stops at the free throw line. Payson Seymour looking real aggressive and their fans enjoying it as well. Running jumper. No good. Rebound comes down into the hands of Wyatt Nyson, his first of the ball game. Deeker with the basketball, gives it back up to Nyson as Payson Seymour gets into their offensive set. 3-ball on the way from Lane Barker, off the rim, no good. Schwartz comes down with the rebound. Deeker thought about the 3-ball, doesn't get it, gets the pick from Nyson, penetrates in. Barker will give it another try on the baseline, no good. Rebound comes down into the hands of James Moore. 6:15 left to go here in the first quarter. No score yet here from Payson Seymour. With the basketball is Kevin Howell. Kicks it over to the left side now into the hands of Dodd. Back up to Howell as they try to work the basketball inside. Dodd, baseline drive, and almost gets tipped away and stolen by Payson Seymour. It'll head out of bounds and remain Pretzel basketball. Damon, a nice little stand here so far from the Indians in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, we've seen they've done a nice job closing out on defense here, really being aggressive, getting out into the passing lanes. Put up a good 2 minutes, see if they can't get another stop here as the Pretzels have the basketball in the hands of Dodd.
Dodd takes it into the right side, gets double teamed. New Berlin, really good, sharp passing quickly. Now they get it down inside. Up with the basket, off the rim is a shot for Bixby. It's no good, but he'll get fouled and go to the free throw line.
It's going to be the first foul of the ball game as it's whistled against Richie Martin. That's Martin's first. And as Brian told you, it's going to send to the line for the Pretzels, Lucas Bigsby. Bigsby's the 6'4 junior. First free throw attempt from the lefty is good.
Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, the place to go for your next vehicle purchase. See them online at littlejessmotor.com or stop by at 3431 Main Street in Quincy as we get a quick substitution for Payson Seymour and quickly into the ball game.
Nolan Sparks in for the Indians. As second free throw attempt is off the rim, no good. Brian Deeker with the board. That's his first.
Nyson with the basketball, tries to penetrate around the free throw line. Nothing there as he gives it to Schwartz. Man-to-man look here still for New Berlin as they almost throw it away, and they do on the turnover for Payson. Tried to get the basketball to Barker a little too quickly. Deeker could not save it. It'll be a turnover on the Indians. 5:34 left here in the opening frame.
Those are the type of turnovers, even though you don't want to have a turnover, you can live with a dead ball turnover where the Pretzels don't get a chance to get into a fast break. Instead, you get a chance to set your defense, as Payson Seymour does right now.
Dodd drives baseline, kicks it back out over to Howell. 3-ball in the corner from Hermes up off the rim, no good. Dodd comes down with it. Right hand up and off the glass is good for Gannon Dodd. It's a 3-0 lead for the Pretzels. 5:13 left to go here in the first quarter. Payson Seymour trying to find some attack here. Schwartz, 3-ball from the right wing is good. Schwartz answers. It's our first tie of the basketball game, a 3-3 ball game. 5 minutes even left here in the first, as Payson now tries to extend with a little half-court pressure. Howell with the basketball, trying to drive around Barker. With it now at the volleyball line. Drives into the lane, stops at the right elbow. Now they get it down into Bixby. Bixby through two defenders. Nice dish on the baseline. Up off the glass is good for Ben Hermes. Give him 2 on the basketball game. It's a 5-3 lead. 4:37 left to go here in the first. Barker with the basketball. The sophomore thought about the three-pointer. No good. Now he hands it over to Sparks. Sparks now kicks it back over to Brian Deeker. The senior leader now gives it over to another senior. That's Wyatt Nyson. Thought about the elbow shot. Holds up on it, and now Payson working around the perimeter. Barker, he's already knocked down a triple. Drives into the baseline up with the left hand off the glass. No good. Rebound comes down into the hands of James Moore. Just over 4 minutes left to go here. It's a 5-3 basketball game on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. They get the basketball now up to Bixby. Quick kick out to Howell. 3-ball doesn't find anything except the floor. And now New Berlin comes down with the offensive rebound, though. Howell with it. Kicks it back over now to the right corner to Bixby. Quickly working it around the perimeter. 2 3-balls on this possession for New Berlin. Gannon Dodd knocks down the second. And it's an 8-3 lead for the Pretzels. 3:40 left to go here in the first quarter. Nyson with the basketball. Takes some dribbles to the right. Now gives it over to Schwartz. He tries to penetrate in around Howell. Up and under with the right hand. No good. Moore comes up with it. And he's going to, I think the foul's going to come on Payson Seymour.
They're actually going to whistle that foul against James Moore of New Berlin. So that'll be his first Pretzels foul of the ball game, as we see Tanner Fry check in for New Berlin. Fry, a 6'2 junior. Moore takes the seat.
Payson with the basketball after the foul as Barker's got it in the corner and whips it back out to Schwartz. Sparks tries to penetrate, can't get anything here on the Weave offense. Now they kick it out. Deeker, 3-ball from the left wing, up off the rim and no good. Rebound comes down to the hands of the just checked in Tanner Fry. Dodd with the basketball, moving quickly for New Berlin. Down onto the left side, this is Hermes with it. They whip it around the perimeter, try to get it inside, and they do to Dodd. He's guarded by Nyson inside. 3 minutes left to go here in the opening frame. Down into the corner to Fry. He's got nowhere to go with it. Payson Seymour has extended this zone just a hair as Dodd goes to another three ball. Fight for the rebound. Comes down into the hands of Nyson as Deeker hit the floor on that one. They quickly get it down to Schwartz. He tries to drive baseline. Nice defense by Kevin Howell to shut it off. Deeker goes in. Up off the glass, no good, but he's going to get fouled and go to the free throw line. Will Brian Deeker.
Be the second foul of the half against the Pretzels as Gannon Dodd is going to be whistled for his first. And as Brian told you, it's going to send Brian Deeker to the line for the Indians. The senior looking for his first 2 points of the ball game. His team trailing 8-3, 2:39 to play first quarter action on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. First one is no good.
Just north of Pittsfield, Real Net and Twine is your local headquarters for concrete, lawn ornament, statues, fountains, and so much more. Stop by and see them or call 217-285-5013 for Real Net and Twine.
Brody Deeker into the ballgame for Payson Seymour. As Deeker gets the second to go, he's got his first points of the evening.
8-4 ball game here. New Berlin with the basketball. Just 2.5 minutes left to go in the opening frame. With the basketball is Hermes. Stops up on the left wing, tries to get it into Dodd, and he does. He kicks it back out to Howell on the right wing. Howell tries to drive by two defenders. Nothing there. This Payson zone hasn't been too bad in the first quarter. Get it back into Dodd. He gets quadruple teamed, and now they kick it back out. Gannon Dodd is alone. With the basketball now is Hermes. He picked it up. Dodd at the free throw line. Drives into the lane. Up and from 5 feet is good for Gannon Dodd. Give him 2 more.
He's got 7. And that's the largest lead of the ballgame for the Pretzels as they've got a 10-4 lead.
2 minutes left to go here. Schwartz with the basketball. Kicks it now over to Deeker. That's Brody Deeker. Not to be confused with Brian. Brian Deeker with the basketball. And they give it to Sparks and to Brody Deeker in the left corner. 1:45 left to go here in the first quarter. Payson with the basketball as the New Berlin fans cheer on their defensive efforts. With it now in the corners, Brody Deeker trying to find Brian on the inside block. Nothing there as they work it back around the perimeter. Nyson with the basketball. 1:30 left to go here in the opening frame. Brody Deeker driving in this weave offense, trying to generate something for Payson Seymour. They get it into Brian Deeker. Kicks it back out to Brody Deeker. Drives through 2 defenders, loses it. And they say that's going to go out of bounds off the Pretzels and will remain Payson Seymour basketball under their own basket.
We see right there why New Berlin has limited teams to 34 points a game. Very quick on the defensive end, and they switch everything as they deflect the pass out of bounds. It'll remain with the Indians. 1:15 to play here in the first quarter on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. Payson Seymour trailing 10-4, but they're to inbound the basketball here, being guarded tightly by New Berlin.
Deeker now gets it into Nyson, tries to drive underneath on the baseline. Up and under is Nyson, but he'll get fouled, and Wyatt Nyson will head to the free throw line for 2 attempts.
Foul's going to be whistled against Lucas Bigsby. That'll be Bigsby's first. 3rd team foul against the Pretzels. Wyatt Nyson to the line looking to cut into his team's deficit. They trail 10-4. 1:10 still to play here first quarter action as the first one from Nyson is on its way, and it is good.
Pike County Concrete, when you need concrete for your next job, give the guys at Pike County Concrete a call. 285-5548, locations in Pittsfield and Jacksonville as Martin's going to check back into the basketball game.
Brody Deeker takes a seat for the Indians.
10-5 here in the opening frame. Not been a bad basketball game so far to watch. The top-ranked team in the state, the New Berlin Pretzels, taking on the host squad, Payson Seymour. As the second free throw is also good. It's a 10-6 ball game as Barker will come back in for Schwartz. 1:10 left to go here in the opening frame.
Barker's going to man the top out here on this 1-2-2. Payson Seymour's done a good job, but they've got to key in on Gannon Dodd as we see that he's the man that this Pretzel offense runs around, and he really likes to try to cut into the middle of that zone defense.
With the basketball is Howell. Picked it up at the volleyball line. Now they find the big man over on the left wing. Takes a couple of dribbles. Kicks it back around. Now over the right side is Fry. They tried to get it down into Hermes at the short corner. It gets tipped away. It'll remain New Berlin basketball with 47 seconds left to go. Damon, we've got to be impressed a little bit with this Payson Seymour zone. Not been too bad out of the Indians so far here tonight.
No, they've done a nice job here and really going after and aggressively trying to trap and force the Pretzels into some turnovers. And we'll see if New Berlin tries to hold for one shot here as we approach the 35-second mark of the first quarter.
Payson Seymour content to stay back within the arc as Howell dribbles around at the Payson Indians' head. 30 seconds left to go here. It's quarter number 1 of game number 1 of 2 tonight. Bricksville, Perry, and Triopia will be our nightcap tonight. As you're watching on the screen, you can see the guys in maroon sitting over in the far corner. 18, 17, 16, 15 seconds now. New Berlin offense will get into motion here in just a second. 10 seconds. The crowd is getting excited here for the final
Payson's going to break
possession.
into a man-to-man defense here, too, for the final possession.
Howell with the basketball. Tries to drive around Barker. Has nowhere to go. Gets it to Dodd. He's got to get it up quickly as the time expires, and it's good. Gannon Dodd with the big basket here at the end of the quarter. We'll watch it live here on the Northwestern Mutual replay. And that's not going to do it, as we got the wrong thing. Hey, either way, it's the end of the first quarter. New Berlin 13, Payson Seymour 6. We'll be back in 1 minute here on Central Illinois Sports.
Are you short on time or budget, but your family is hungry? It's time for the Maya Authentic Mexican Restaurant in Pittsfield. Try the Maya Special, a crowd favorite. Delicious grilled fajitas, steaks, nachos Mexicano, salads in the tortilla bowl, the tastiest salsa and cheese sauce around, and the fastest service anywhere. You can afford it. It's the Maya Mexican Restaurant on Washington Street. Call ahead with your order and you can pick it up in the drive-thru, 217-285-4526. The Maya Restaurant in Pittsfield. Farmers, are you looking for high-yield genetics to help the bottom line on your farm? Contact Lipkeman Seed Sales for high-yielding A-Series soybeans from Pioneer. We have the luxury right now to be offering the highest-yielding soybean lineup Pioneer has offered in 30 years. Couple that with the service that is second to none, and you have a winning combination for your farm. For corn, check out the results of the National Corn Growers Yield Contact and see who's at the top. Maybe today is a good day to revisit Pioneer corn hybrids as well. Contact Aaron, Evan, and Brett today for high-yielding A-Series soybeans from Pioneer. Go Eagles!
Payson Seymour to have the basketball to start the second quarter, trailing 13-6 as Gannon Dodd hit the three as time expired in the first quarter. But Payson Seymour answers back here to start the second quarter with a Lane Barker three. Payson Seymour now 2 of 8 from the field in this one, whereas New Berlin in that first quarter shot 5 of 9 from the field, including 2 of 5 from behind the three-point line.
You continue to shoot over 50%. It's going to make it really difficult to get defeated here tonight as Dodd's got the basketball, drives down to the left side, nothing there as he likes to keep attacking that baseline. This is Fry with it, pulls up from 5 feet, no good as it flies over the rim and goes down into the hands of Deeker, his second rebound on the night. Nyson thought about the three ball, quickly gets it now down over to Sparks in the corner. He's trying to find Deeker in the post, nothing there as he's guarded by Gannon Dodd. With the basketball at the top of the key, this is Sparks. Three ball is good. Back-to-back threes to start the quarter for Payson Seymour. It's a 13-12 basketball game with 6:55 left to go here in the second quarter. New Berlin's going to have to get an answer here. They get it over on the right side now to Fry. Takes a few dribbles, trying to find Dodd at the right elbow. Payson Seymour fans have come alive on the back-to-back threes from their squad. Down in the corner is Bixby, double teamed, he's got to get rid of it, kicks it back up to Howell. Howell now gets it tipped away and stolen by Deeker. Turnover on the Pretzels, their second of the basketball game, as now they get it over to Nyson. That's going to be a blocking foul against Tanner Fry on the baseline.
That's going to be Fry's first. It is the 4th foul against the Pretzels. So Payson Seymour will have the basketball with a chance to take their first lead of the ball game as Blake Schwartz checks in. Lane Barker takes a seat for the Indians. 6:28 to play here, second quarter action. Payson Seymour inbounds it to Deeker.
Back down the corner, this is Sparks. Takes a few dribbles, just Blake Sparks, and kicks it back, or Schwartz, excuse me, and trying to kick it up as they get it to Deeker in the short corner. Works in the post, nothing there. They kick it back top of the key. Nice drive by Sparks. Up and in, gets blocked by Dodd. Here come the Pretzels. 6:10 left to go here in the second quarter. Over on the right side is Howell. Back into that 3-2, 1-2-2 zone, whatever you want to call it. A long three ball from Howell doesn't find the mark, but the rebound comes down into the hands of Tanner Fry. Second chance opportunity here for the Pretzels. With the basketball is Howell, drives into the right elbow, kicks it back out to Fry. He'll take another three ball, and it's good. Tanner Fry answers the back-to-back threes. It's a 16-12 ball game for New Berlin with 5:40 left to go here in the second. Deeker drives in, up with the right hand, up off the glass, and good is Brian Deeker. 16-14 ball game. We're going back and forth here in the second quarter. This is the tempo, though, that Payson Seymour wants, Damon.
Just Deeker's first field goal of the ball game. He was 1 for 2 from the charity stripe. So Payson's within 2, and that's Deeker's first two-pointer of the game as New Berlin misses the three. Rebound comes down in the hands of Nolan Sparks for the Indians.
Nyson with it, kicks down low into Sparks. He loses the basketball to go out of bounds. Second turnover of the basketball game for the Indians.
That was a good look right there for Payson Seymour, just not able to control it. But again, second turnover. Both of them have been dead ball out of bounds as James Moore back in for the Pretzels. Bixby takes a seat. New Berlin with the 16-14 lead and the basketball approaching the 5-minute mark of the first half on the Trucks LLC scoreboard.
Moore and Nyson battling inside as they're trying to get the basketball to Moore. Errant pass almost gets steered away, but Fry able to pick it up. 4:53 left to go. Fry with it on the right side. He's already knocked down a triple this quarter as they get it to Dodd. Free throw line jumper from 33 is no good. Rebound comes down to the hands of James Moore, and it'll be a foul against Payson Seymour.
That'll be Richie Martin. That'll be his second. Team foul number 2. Looks like he might have been a little banged up there, but he'll go to the bench with those 2 fouls as Lane Barker back in. On the other side, we see Griffin Fuchs check in for the first time for the Pretzels as Hermes takes a seat.
Howell will be the inbounds man. Man-to-man deep. Well, there's still a little bit of a zone here as they get it back out to the right wing, and Dodd knocks down a 3-ball. His 13th points of the basketball game. It's a 19-14 ball game as Gannon Dodd has taken over tonight here at Payson Seymour. Barker with the basketball, dribbles into the free throw line, kicks it back as they work it now. Left side 3-ball from Brian Deeker answers the mark. 19-17 basketball game here as we're trading threes and trading baskets. It's a fun second quarter. Howell with the basketball, dribbles around the volleyball line. Now they've got it back to Dodd as they work it into the right side. Down to the corner, stripped away from Sparks. Their third turnover is the Pretzels. Nyson with the basketball, tries to drive into the lane, up with the right hand over Dodd, no good. Nyson tried to get the rebound, instead it comes down into the hands of Kevin Howell. 3:57 left to go here in the first half. Dodd with it, nice running jumper from about 5 feet with the left hand. He is talented. It's a 21-17 ball game. New Berlin with the lead. Gannon Dodd is really impressive. 3-ball on the way from Barker, no good. Rebound comes back down into the hands of Gannon Dodd. He'll lead the Pretzel attack on his 4th rebound of the evening. Trying to get the look into Moore. It'll be a 3-ball from Dodd. He knocks it down again. Gannon Dodd is having a night here in Payson. And we've got a quick officials timeout on the floor.
On the trip down, official Tim Crumweedy took a tumble. Not sure if he tripped on something or what, but so after the bucket went through, they're giving him just a minute to collect himself. After the 3-pointer from Gannon Dodd, Dodd now has 18 of his team's 24, and that 3-pointer he hit just tied the largest lead of the contest for the Pretzels at 24-17, 3:30 to play here in the first half. Payson Seymour, you hate to say it, but right now this is a possession where they need to get a bucket and just cut into a little bit of this Pretzel momentum.
Tried to pass it inside, almost got tipped away and stolen, but picked back up by Lane Barker. Kicks it now to the right side to Deeker. Tries to get it inside to Nice. An acrobatic save as a 3-ball from Schwartz is no good, and it goes off the hands of James Moore on the rebound attempt, and we've got guys down everywhere. It looks like Kevin Howell might be hobbling just a little bit, and he's going to take a seat.
Hermes will check back in. Looks like maybe he just rolled his ankle a little bit there. Indians to trigger it in.
Schwartz gets it on the block, kicks it back top of the key as Lane Barker. Off the glass, no good. Nyson comes down with it, though he gets tripped up. Appears to be tripped up by Tanner Fry.
That is Tanner Fry. It'll be his second. Team foul number 5 against the Pretzels.
Payson Seymour will inbound. They're down by 7, 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Quick inbounds pass and a 3-ball from Blake Schwartz is good. That'll cut it down to a 4-point game again, 24-20.
Third 3-point attempt of that possession for the Indians. Finally got one to go to cut into New Berlin's lead.
We've seen this team knock down a lot of threes this season. We've seen them shoot a lot of threes this season. Just depends tonight how many they're going to make. With the basketball now is Dodd again. Another 3-ball from Gannon Dodd off the glass and no good. Rebound comes down to Tanner Fry. 2:35 left to go as Fry's got the basketball still. Thought about the 3, kicks it back around top of the key. This is Hermes. Hermes guarded up top by Schwartz. That's Lane Barker. Now Schwartz is on Dodd. That's a matchup, sophomore versus a senior.
And you see Deeker telling Schwartz, let's switch off. He takes Dodd.
That's probably the better matchup. Moore drives in, up with the right hand, up and over off the rim and no good. Rebound comes down to the hands of Fuchs. He'll go up with it and get fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
3 Indians, 1 Pretzel down low, and the Pretzel comes away with the rebound. and gets fouled by Blake Schwartz. Schwartz picks up his first, third team foul of the half against the Indians. So it sends Griffin Fuchs to the line for New Berlin. Fuchs is the 6'2 sophomore. Attempt for his first points of the night. First one for him is good.
Moose Lodge 420. Check out the Friday meals at Moose Lodge 420 in Pittsfield. New specials each week. The food's hot and the drinks are cold at Moose Lodge 420. Tell them Big Merle sent you.
Bixby back in for New Berlin. On the other side, Richie Martin back in for Payson Seymour, as Fuchs' second attempt is good, so Fuchs gets them both.
You're not going to put New Berlin to the free throw line and get away with a lot of opportunity to lose a point there. They're going to make some free throws. Three ball from Barker off the back of the iron, no good. Nice tip in from Richie Martin as a 26-22 basketball game. 1:52 left to go, and the nice hustle play from Richie Martin. Dodd brings it across the time stripe here for New Berlin. Still the zone look here for Payson Seymour as he kicks it over to Fry on the left side. Trying to battle inside is Fuchs up at the elbow, guarded by Martin. Now they get it to him, kicks it back out to Fry on the left side. Dodd's going to take another three ball top of the key, off the iron, no good. Rebound comes down into the hands of Fry, who tips it away to Dodd. Down in the corner, another three ball from Hermes off the front of the iron, no good. And now Wyatt Nyson comes down with the basketball. Nyson with it, picks it up now to Deeker. He'll try and answer a three off the glass and no good. A rebound comes down to the hands of the sophomore, Griffin Fuchs. Damon, this is the type of play I think you want to see if you're a Payson Seymour fan. And, you know, we've seen the stats on New Berlin. They don't shoot a lot of threes, and it's a little bit of a different look for this Pretzel squad this evening.
Both squads 5 of 13 apiece from behind the three-point line in this first half of play.
We told you before the game, based on the season statistics that we saw, New Berlin only takes about a dozen threes a game. Payson takes that sometimes in a quarter.
We saw 3 in one possession here earlier.
That's right.
Payson Seymour a little bit more aggressive at the end of the second quarter compared to the first, where they were content to let New Berlin run out the clock for the last minute 10, but New Berlin still got it down to 30 seconds in the hands of Gannon Dodd, the man who's led the way for the Pretzels so far in this one, as he's got 18 of his team's 26. And we approach the 17-second mark on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. New Berlin will probably look to do something at around the 8-second mark, and we approach 10.
Hermes with the basketball, dribbles to the left side now to Dodd. Dodd's going to try and get the pick, doesn't take the pick. Now they get it to Moore inside. Moore's got to get it up quick. 2 seconds, 1. Dodd with it at the buzzer. Shot's no good, and we've reached the Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram halftime show, where the New Berlin Pretzels lead the Payson Seymour Indians 26-22. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break here on the halftime show. When we come back, we'll get you some halftime stats and analysis. You're watching it all live here on Central Illinois Sports.
Here at Little Jess, we value hard work, dedication, integrity, and leadership. We have a respect for heritage and tradition and believe in the pursuit of building legacies, breaking records, and putting forth award-winning results. That's why supporting schools and local teams is one of our favorite and most exciting parts of our business. For over 7 decades, we strive daily to use those same values as a foundation to meet our community's automotive needs and support our future generations. Little Jess Motors, serving our community since 1969.
We do a procedure called a transcatheter aortic valve replacement, and we call it TAVR.
TAVR is state of the art. It wasn't really available worldwide until the early 2000s.
It's a minimally invasive procedure in order to replace the valve.
I'm number 1.
I was number.
Here at Mountain Dew, it's easy to tell who really loves the outdoors. For one thing, there's the rack on your car and the hitch on the back of your truck. There's your garage full of toys, from dirt bikes to wakeboards. And there's your cooler full of Mountain Dew, always at the ready. Because when it's time to get out there, climb into your deer stand or your fishing boat, a cooler of ice-cold Mountain Dew, that's as important a piece of outdoor gear as your spinning rod or your four-wheeler. Mountain Dew. Get out and do.
Trucks LLC will be located this fall in the new building at 14 East Industrial Park Drive in Pittsfield. Call 217-922-0044. Diesel repair service offering 24-hour roadside repair, mobile service units, semi-truck and trailers, farm and ag equipment, DOT inspections, hydraulic hose repair, anything diesel, we can come to you along the road in the field or at your shop. It's Trucks. Call 217-922-0044. That's 217-922-0044.
For nearly 40 years, the Niebuhr Funeral Home has been serving our area with professionalism,
and compassion. This is our business, our hometown. You can be assured we take great personal pride in serving your family in your time of loss. We're locally owned. We're your friends and neighbors. We care about you and your family. Niebuhr Funeral Home, with locations in Pittsfield and Barry, serving our community with compassion and respect.
When you think of fall, what comes to mind besides pumpkins, honey, and football? How about fertilizer? Studies show more than 1/3 of your crop's yield is determined by fertilizer alone. Studies also show as much as 40% potassium and 30% phosphate gets tied up in stalks and residue, as well as high clay content. Nutrient Ag Solutions recommends Titan, which is an innovative fertilizer catalyst designed for use with dry fertilizer blends. Titan will keep nutrients from being tied up and increase fertilizer availability in your crop. Titan is a low-cost option to improve crop fertility. Contact your nutrient crop consultant today.
Welcome you back here on the Great Rivers Bank pregame show with the locations in Quincy. Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the halftime show, the place to go for your next vehicle purchase. Their staff committed to making the car buying process simple and making sure each customer's needs are satisfied. Learn more at littlejessmotor.com or stop by and see them at 3431 Main Street in Quincy. New Berlin Pretzels lead the Payson Seymour Indians 26-22 in what's been a really nice basketball game. Damon Emmerich's been keeping tabs on the stats and has a look at our halftime statistics.
Well, after one quarter of play, Payson Seymour trailed New Berlin by a score of 13-6. New Berlin carried that lead into the half by a score at the half of 26-22. No lead changes in the ball game. We were tied at one time. We were tied at 3. And New Berlin's largest lead of the ball game is 7. Pretty clean action so far in the first half. Payson Seymour with 2 turnovers in the ball game thus far, and New Berlin with 3. No real foul problems for either team. As for Payson Seymour, Richie Martin has 2 fouls, whereas for the Pretzels, Tanner Fry with just 2 fouls in that first half of play for New Berlin, who came into the halftime here on the Little Jess halftime show with the lead at the half of 26-22. When we come back after these messages from our sponsors, we will tell you a little bit about our individual statistics as well as set the tone for the second half of play-by-play here between New Berlin and Payson Seymour. We're back after these.
When it comes to financial planning, most financial companies focus on your income. At Northwestern Mutual, we focus on your outcome. That's why we know what it takes to succeed both on your balance sheet and in your life. It takes the right financial partner who looks at where you are now and where you want to go and design a financial plan to take you there so you can achieve the life you're after today and every day after. Focus on your financial outcome with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Sheila Davidsmeyer today. Her office is located at 311 West Washington in Pittsfield, Illinois, or visit SheilaDavidsmeyer.nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Few things compare to Camp Point Central's fans' dedication to the Panthers. The same can be said about Channel and the farmers they serve. You see, unlike other seed companies, they don't have salesmen. With Channel, you get the advantage of a dedicated Channel seedsman, a trusted year-round advisor who can provide the right recommendations for your fields. It's their hands-on approach that truly sets them apart. Customized service, expert advice, elite seed management products. Find your Channel seedsman at channel.com or contact local district sales manager Matt Hughes at 217-242-8852. Welcome to Douglas Automotive and Tire, your expert truck and car repair center in Pittsfield, Illinois. We provide full service from oil changes to new tires and everything in between. Contact us today to schedule service. We're located at 303 West Jefferson Street in Pittsfield, Illinois. Call 217-922-0064. That's 217-922-0064. Britton and the gang know cars, and if you need repairs, call Douglas Automotive today for all your repairs.
Hey, Dad. We're going for a run.
Well, just be careful. Make sure you're not running alone.
Another virus was blocked? Are you doing an online quiz?
This one's going to tell me my IQ.
All these quizzes are for is to get your passwords for everything. How do you not know that? How long have you been doing these quizzes for?
How old are you?
11?
11 years.
How do you not know how old I am? All right, well, we're going to go for a run and watch for Cars and Strangers, and you change all your passwords so your identity isn't wiped out.
A bit dramatic. Really like to know my IQ, though.
On the Little Jess Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram halftime show, where New Berlin leads Payson Seymour 26-22. Damon's got individual statistics here for you from the first half.
Payson Seymour in the first half of play shot 7 of 20 from the field for a total of 35%, and they were 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. Individual scoring for the Indians, 2 points apiece for Richie Martin and Wyatt Nyson, 3 for Lane Barker and Nolan Sparks. And then the Indians were led in the first half by Brian Deeker as well as Blake Schwartz with 6 points apiece. For the Pretzels of New Berlin, they were 9 of 22 from the field for 41%, as Brian told you. A team that typically only shoots about 12 threes in a game. New Berlin took 14 threes in the first half, knocking down 5 of them. Individual scoring for the Pretzels, 3 points for Tanner Fry, 2 for Griffin Fuchs, 1 for Lucas Bigsby, 2 points for Ben Hermes, and then the leading scorer in the first half for the Pretzels was Gannon Dodd, as Dodd has 18 of his team's 26 points as they have the lead here at the half by a score of 26-22.
Well, Damon, it's been a very entertaining first half of basketball here. The second quarter really got to see some up and down action. We really expected New Berlin to try and slow this thing down. And when they get into a half-court set, they really do. I don't feel the Pretzels have really taken any forced shots, even though we've maybe seen them take a few more long-range shots than this Pretzel team is maybe accustomed to taking from time to time. But everything seems to be pretty well in motion for this team. They've just dealt with a Payson Seymour team that's come out to play in the first half.
Yeah, Payson Seymour has come out, and they've been the aggressor, as they should. They're the underdog. They've got nothing to lose in this one. They've really done a nice job attacking the basket. They've maybe given up a couple of second-chance opportunities for the Pretzels, but overall, as you walk into the half, if you're Coach Tyler Dushinsky, I don't think there's much you can be upset about with your team. They had a couple of opportunities where they had the basketball and a chance to take a lead. They just weren't able to do so, and then we'd see New Berlin come back down. At one time, they extended their lead back out to 7, but Payson Seymour kept fighting, had it down to a 4-point deficit here at the half. And, Brian, we talked off the air here earlier. First 4 minutes of a second half are key, but especially here because you've got a chance to make some adjustments. And if Payson Seymour can come out and keep the deficit to within 5 to 7, or maybe even come out and take the lead, that belief just keeps popping up. It keeps getting stronger and stronger that we've got a chance to win this ball game.
Well, things to think about, too, on the New Berlin side. This is a team that is not unaccustomed to getting everyone's best shot. They've taken it from several teams, and they've had a lot of close games despite, you know, their fantastic record and what is a very skilled basketball team. This is a team that's not afraid to play with its back against the wall. We've seen them in very close games against Jacksonville Route. We've seen them in close games against Salt Fork and even Triopia earlier in the season. So this is a team that I can't imagine is too rattled by the first half of play. Now you're hopeful to see a little more out of Kevin Howell and maybe some of the inside there from James Moore as we get into the second half here. The biggest thing for Payson Seymour, they don't have many fouls racked up on their half, Damon, and that's going to help out because they can be the aggressor defensively here in the second half.
Absolutely, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to look to pinch in on Gannon Dodd a little bit more and make somebody else score for the Pretzels, as Dodd had more than 2/3 of his team's points there in that first half.
New Berlin will get the basketball here to start things off in the third quarter as they get it over to Hermes on the right side. He'll pick it up at the elbow, gives it back around now to Kevin Howell. The senior drives around into the lane, stops and gives it back to Dodd, who's had a heck of a first half. Tried to look inside to Bixby, was nothing there. Now they get it to Dodd inside. He's double teamed, almost gets it tipped away from Schwartz. It'll go out of bounds and remain New Berlin basketball. And that's that type of hustle play, Damon, we're seeing from Payson Seymour that's been able to keep him in it so far.
Yeah, they've done a nice job right there. Almost had the steal from behind, and that ball almost went off of Dodd's leg. But the Pretzels got the basketball. They get a chance to reset their offense here 40 seconds into the third quarter. No score yet here in the third quarter.
3 ball on the way from Hermes off the front of the iron. No good. Brian Deeker comes down with the rebound. He's pushing the tempo for Payson Seymour. To Nyson now on the left side. Drives into the lane through 2 defenders. Up with the right hand and good. Wyatt Nyson makes it a 2-point basketball game. 26-24. 7 minutes left to go here in the third. And Payson Seymour feels like they've got some life. To the right side now is Tanner Fry. Guarded out by Schwartz. They're trying to get it to Dodd at the free throw line. Howell gets an advantage now, takes it off of Martin, and they say it's going to go off of Kevin Howell's knee as Richie Martin able to get the stop on the baseline. It'll be a turnover on the Pretzels as we see James Moore check back into the basketball game for Tanner Fry. Payson Seymour will get the luxury of walking this one up and get a little bit of a breather. It's a 2-point basketball game again, 26-24 here on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. Nice, and gets it back out quickly now to Barker. They get it up to Schwartz at the top of the key. Gets the pick from Deeker. Schwartz drives in. The sophomore gets blocked by Dodd. Or excuse me, gets blocked by Bixby. who you hope to see a few more points out of if you're this Payson Seymour fan base. Dodd with it now back at the Indians' head. They work it around top of the key. Dodd drives right side. Howell with it, tries to go baseline, nothing there as he gets double teamed. And now they work it around the perimeter again. Hermes probably had the interior open and passed it up. Howell, 3-ball from the corner, off the rim, no good. Rebound comes down to the defensive bulldog and hustler, Richie Martin. Brian Deeker with the basketball now. 6:02 left to go here in the second.
Chance to give us our first tie since we were knotted up at 3, or if Payson Seymour would knock down a 3, it would give them their first lead of the ball game as they've got the basketball. 5:50 to play here, third quarter action. Deeker with it out top.
Well, Damon, we've said this before. We hope we are not jinxing anything because we really are enjoying this basketball game as Nison's 3 goes wild. We've seen what Payson Seymour can do in a one-game setting. We saw it against Jacksonville Route. You've seen it against teams like Brown County. This is a team that you give them a one-shot opportunity, they're scary. And they're trying to prove it here tonight as Dodd's shot goes off the rim. Moore comes down with it. He can't get the tip in. Rebound comes down to Nison. 5:20 left to go here in the third. Nison with the basketball, or excuse me, Deeker, and they say he'll travel on the jump stop. It'll be a turnover on the Indians.
That's the third turnover of the ball game against Payson Seymour. So, Brian, we've talked about it, a very clean basketball game, just a combined 7 turnovers here through almost the first 2.5 quarters as New Berlin will have the basketball looking to extend their lead. And they look to attack the bucket and find Dodd. Instead, pass deflected. Dodd has to run it down.
Dodd with the basketball, gets it back to Bixby. Quick kick out now to Howell as they get it down to Moore on the block. Working around the perimeter now, Deeker picked it off. Here comes the senior. Deeker up with the right hand off the glass and good, and we are tied, Damon Emmerich, 26-26. 4:50 left to go here on the Trucks LLC scoreboard. Brian Deeker comes up with the steal and the layup for the Indians, and it's the first tie since we were knotted up at 3. With the basketball now is Dodd. Drives in, kicks it out to Howell on the left side. He's got to pull it back out. Bixby tries to get the basketball at the free throw line. Nothing there. Now they get it to him. Now they dump it down into Moore. Moore goes up. 2 hands, no good off the glass. And they say it'll go out of bounds off the Indians and remain Payson or New Berlin basketball.
Fuchs and Fry into the ball game for Payson Seymour, or excuse me, for New Berlin as Howell and Hermes take a seat. Pretzels to inbound underneath their own basket. We, as Brian told you, are knotted up at 26, so knotted up at 3 and 26. And Payson Seymour has yet to have a lead in this one, trailed by as many as 7. But right now they're looking to get one more defensive stop and almost do so before Dodd tracks down to loose ball, and he'll look to reset the offense for the Pretzels.
Dodd gets it into Bixby in the lane. He kicks it back out. This is Fry on the left side. No good. Dodd comes back down with the offensive rebound. Second chance opportunity here for the Pretzels. Moore and Bixby down low. They also got it now down into Fuchs on the baseline. Dodd goes up with the left hand. No good. Rebound comes down into the hands of Wyatt Nison. 3:45 left to go here in the third quarter. You're watching it all live on Central Illinois Sports as Tyler Dushinsky takes the first time out of the basketball game. We'll take it too and get our breath. You get yours as well. We're tied at 26. We'll be back in 30 seconds on Central Illinois Sports.
If your job situation is changing because of layoffs or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One important decision may be what to do with your retirement plan. Make sure your retirement stays on track. Derek Harris, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. Stop by the office at 1891 Main Street in Quincy, Illinois. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Back to live action after Payson Seymour takes our first time out of the basketball game at the 3:41 mark of the third quarter. Damon, it's been a quick basketball game. It is 20-7, and we're approaching the fourth quarter here at Payson Seymour High School.
Yeah, been a quick basketball game, been a lot of fun, been a clean game. Payson Seymour a chance to take their first lead of the ball game as they'll see if they can do so at the free throw line as Brian Deeker was fouled on the drive. He was fouled on that one. It looks like they're going to get Lucas Bixby, so that'd be his second. First team foul of the half. Deeker at the line. He's 1 for 2 from there in this one. The senior's first free throw attempt is off the front of the rim, no good.
For all of your diesel repair needs, call Trucks, currently operating with mobile service units only at this time as their new building is being constructed in the Industrial Park in Pittsfield. Call Trucks at 217-922-0044. And be sure to like Trucks LLC on Facebook, our scoreboard sponsor here at Central Illinois Sports.
Second one from Deeker is good. Give us our first lead change of the ball game at the 3:34 mark of the third quarter, as Deeker's now got 9 of his team's 27.
Pretzels will try and answer as they trail for the first time here this evening. With the basketball is Howell back up at center court. Dodd at the free throw line. They try to get it into the big guy. Can't get it. Now they do. He's double teamed though quickly by Schwartz and Deeker. Spin move, nothing there. They get it to Howell on the left wing. He tries to drive, penetrates in. Now they find on the underneath is Bixby. He can't get it on the first try, can't get it on the second. And now Deeker comes up with the rebound. 3 minutes to go. Payson Seymour trying to extend a 1-point lead. They try to get it to Schwartz. He'll pick it up as Howell let him go recover the basketball. Dushinsky will bark out some instructions, and Howell tips it off there, and that's just a little bit of a veteran play from Kevin Howell as he was able to tip it away from the sophomore.
You know, Brian, we talked in the pregame about the length of this New Berlin Pretzel squad, but we've seen Payson's length and athleticism really bother New Berlin. They've rushed some close shots down low. They've got a chance to extend their lead right now as Schwartz has the ball, gets it left wing to Barker.
Barker now drives to the basketball. That's Sparks. Now kicks it back over. Barker on the right side. Tries to drive baseline. Nothing there as Fry cut him off. Deeker drives again. Gets 2 guys up in the air, and Deeker gives it in. 3 quick points in a row for Brian Deeker. It's a 29-26 lead for the Payson Seymour Indians. 2:20 left to go here in the third. Basketball over on the right side. This is Hermes. Payson Seymour being very deliberate about how they navigate on this zone defense right now. Dodd thought about the 3 ball, tries to drive in, nothing there. Howell thought about it as well. Now they kick it down, Fry in the corner. He can't get the 3-pointer. Rebound comes down into the hands of Hermes, and it gets stolen away as Sparks comes up with the loose ball. Another turnover on the Pretzels. 1:57 left to go here in the third. Nyson will generate the offense here for the Indians. They get it to Schwartz, now back into Deeker. Deeker trying to get it inside to his senior co-worker. Can't get it there as it gets stolen away from Bixby. A turnover on the Indians. They quickly push now down to Fry. Fry goes up with it. They can't get on the layup. Deeker comes down with it. 1:35 left to go. Collision at midcourt as Howell tries to get it, but they say he'll step on the baseline on the hustle play. And it'll remain Payson Seymour basketball. Damon, team's starting to get maybe not a little bit of desperation, but you're starting to see some extra hustle plays here that teams start to feel maybe when the pressure ramps up.
Yeah, they've got to just slow down a little bit here. I like what Payson Seymour is doing. They're trying to get the ball into the hands of Brian Deeker and letting him create. Had a turnover there on the last possession, but the ball in his hands, you feel pretty comfortable. But you can just give the ball to Wyatt Nyson and let him attack the bucket for another 2, and that's a 5-point Payson Seymour lead. And right now, New Berlin may need a timeout to try to get things settled down with 1:10 to play here in the third quarter.
Howell almost loses the basketball. It'll go off the hands of it. It'll be a turnover on the Pretzels. And the Payson Seymour fans are loving what they see here in the third quarter. 1:05 left to go. It's a 31-26 basketball game as Payson Seymour has the lead in the ball. Schwartz will be the trigger man as Tyler Dushinsky barks out some instructions to his boys in blue. They get it over to Sparks, now back to Deeker up the head at the center of the court here at Payson Seymour.
Payson Seymour is going to have the basketball to start the fourth quarter as well. So if they're able to hold for one shot right here, that's going to be big for them, but they've got to stay within the flow of their offense, and if they get an open look, take it.
Deeker with the basketball, 40 seconds left to go here in the third. Deeker drives into the left side. He'll pull it back out as Payson Seymour content to hold for one, as you suggested, Damon Emmerich. And now it's going to be a foul in the backcourt on Lucas Bixby.
That's Bixby's third, second team foul of the half against the Pretzels, as we'll see Griffin Fuchs check in for New Berlin. We'll see Hermes take a seat. 32.3 seconds to play, third quarter action. Payson Seymour with the 31-26 lead. And we should point out, New Berlin is scoreless here in this third quarter of play. They had the 26-22 lead at the half, and Payson Seymour has outscored them 9-0 here in the third quarter. But a turnover against Payson Seymour, they're fifth, and the Pretzels into the front court, into the hands of Howell.
16 seconds left to go as Howell's got the basketball. Now New Berlin will try and hold for one. 10 seconds to go. Howell with the basketball. 7, 6, 5, 4. Now they get it to Dodd. Somebody's got to get a shot. He takes it from half court. It's good. Gannon Dodd on a desperation 3 at the buzzer from half court knocks it down. And it's a 2-point basketball game just like that. Payson Seymour 31, New Berlin 29. We've played 3 quarters. Tell your friends to tune in for the 4th because it's going to be a lot of fun. We are back in 60 seconds here on Central Illinois Sports.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You've heard that phrase many times. And Rod Prentice in Pittsfield, your State Farm agent, is the guy you can count on to be your friend and neighbor in the insurance business. He has a complete line of insurance available for you from State Farm Insurance. You can reach him at 217-285-6930. Our family trusts Rod Prentice with all of our insurance needs. Stop by their office on Washington Street and see the girls. And Rod Prentice, your State Farm agent, 217-285-6930.
It's a 31-29 basketball game here as the Payson Seymour Indians putting on a show for the hometown fans and trying to upset the #1 team here in the state of Illinois as Damon Emmerich has a quick look at your 3rd quarter shooting stats.
Well, after 3 quarters of play, Payson 11 of 26 from the field for 42%. New Berlin 10 of 34 for 29%. It'll be Indians basketball here to start the 4th quarter.
Resetting some of the particulars here, New Berlin has only committed 2 fouls here in the quarter. Payson Seymour has committed none. And they do not have a lot of fouls to begin with. I think they were only whistled for 3 in the first half, Damon.
Richie Martin has 2 fouls. Other than that, no Indian in foul trouble. Payson Seymour still with 4 timeouts. New Berlin has all 5 timeouts here as Payson Seymour looks to reset the offense to start the 4th.
Nyson drives in, spin move up with the left hand is good for Wyatt Nyson. It's a 33-29 basketball game. Payson up by 4 with 7:20, and now New Berlin will take a timeout. We'll take it too. It's a 30-second break. Hold your breath and get back here. We're watching it live on Central Illinois Sports.
This is Charlie Hull, and I'm asking for your vote for the Pikeland School Board. As a lifelong resident of Pike County, I know of the many great things the Pikeland School District has been able to accomplish and the great success of so many of our students. I want to help make our district a place where kids are excited to learn, teachers are excited to teach, and a place our great community members feel welcomed and proud to be a part of. I would appreciate your vote for Pikeland School Board on April 4th.
You got it.
7:15 here, 4th quarter. New Berlin with the basketball, trailing 33-29. Payson Seymour looking to get the defensive stop as they scored on their first possession. But right now they're looking to stop the end air of the Pretzels as Dodd gets it out top to Bixby. Dodd has 21 of his team's 29. Looking to add to that total, he missed the 3. Skying high for the rebound is Brian Deeker. That's his 6th board of the ballgame.
Nyson with the basketball, 6:50 left to go here. It's been a heck of a ball game here as Payson Seymour has given the top team in the state everything they wanted and more. Nyson tries to dish it down to Schwartz on the baseline. He's able to come away with it. Almost loses the basketball, but the senior picks it up in Wyatt Nyson.
I like the idea right here of trying to get the ball to Brian Deeker and runner 1-4, or Nyson as he attacks the basket. Shot up and good. Nyson's got 10, and it's out to a 6-point Payson Seymour lead. That's their largest lead of the ball game at the 6:15-minute mark of the 4th quarter.
With the basketball is Tanner Fry. The junior kicks it over to the left side. Now to Howell, back to Fry. He'll drive baseline, goes up with it, and gets fouled by Martin. And Tanner Fry will make his way to the free throw line.
That's okay right there if you're Tyler Dushinsky. Martin picks up his 3rd foul. It's the first team foul of the half against Payson Seymour, but you fouled him hard enough to not let him convert the potential for the and one. So it sends Tanner Fry to the line, the 6'2 junior, looking for his first free throw attempts of the night. First one for him is good.
Remind you about Great Rivers Bank. If you're in the market for a new home loan, talk to the guys at Great Rivers Bank, locations in Barry, Pittsfield, Liberty, and Hannibal. Check out that online loan application tool at greatriversbank.bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Sparks back in for Payson Seymour as Martin takes a seat with those 3 fouls. Fry got the first free throw to go. Second one for him is good as well. So it's back to a 4-point Payson Seymour lead.
With the basketball and walking it across the timeline will be the senior Wyatt Nyson. Kicks it over to Deeker now. Man-to-man look as it has been for most of the contest here for New Berlin. Schwartz with it. Kicks it over to the other sophomore, Barker. They try to get it into Nice, and he gets pushed, or Deeker, excuse me, got pushed in the back and no call. And now they'll get it to Barker on the left side. Whip it around the perimeter. Nice and the man at the free throw line. Now they get it to Schwartz on the curl pick. Can't get anywhere. Kicks it out of the baseline. Indians still hold on to it. And Deeker, 3 ball is no good. Rebound comes down into the hands of Lucas Bixby. Bixby pushing the tempo here for New Berlin.
The roof might have blown off this gym if Deeker would have got that 3 to go right there.
Now back into the corner. This is Fry. Drives baseline. Tries to get it now to Hermes, and he'll get fouled at the block.
Blake Schwartz will be whistled for his second. Second team foul against the Indians. Still not a bad foul right there. Prevented a layup. Now the Pretzels have to start it all over again underneath their own basket with 5:25 to play here in the fourth on the Trucks LLC scoreboard.
With the basketball's Dodd. Kicks it now down to Howell. He drives baseline. Kicks it back up, top of the 3. Dodd thought about it. Nice drive up with the running hand. Payson wanted a travel call. They won't get it. Instead, there's going to be a foul called on the floor after the shot.
Going to be a foul going for the rebound. It's going to be against Sparks, so that'll be Sparks first. Third team foul against Payson Seymour.
5:13 left to go here in the ball game. 3 ball on the way from Hermes off the front of the iron. No good. Rebound comes down into the hands of Brian Deeker. Payson Seymour will get it now to Nyson, as Nyson will bring it across the court. 5 minutes left to go. Schwartz with the basketball, guarded out by Howell.
Nyson's had a lot of success taking his man on the dribble drive. See if he can continue that. Sparks is going to put it on the floor and get it to Deeker.
Deeker spin move at the free throw line, nothing there, and they get it back out to Sparks. Payson Seymour will reset with 4:40 left to go here in the contest. Nyson drives, nothing there as he's guarded by Fry. Now they get it to the sophomore, Lane Barker. Back around, Payson Seymour, nice dish into Deeker. He kicks it out, Lane Barker, 3 ball is good. Lane Barker, the sophomore, knocks it down from 19-9. It's a 38-31 lead, largest of the basketball game here for Payson Seymour. Dodd with it now at the free throw line, gets double teamed, and they say Barker's going to get his foul on the reach in.
Nice job right there by Lane Barker. Almost had a tie up, but he's going to be whistled for his first. Still just the 4th team foul, and these aren't bad fouls because they're dead ball fouls, and they're allowing Payson Seymour the opportunity to reset their defense with each foul that's called.
Kicks the basketball, 3 ball on the way from Tanner Fry is good. New Berlin able to answer. And Blake Lucas will take the timeout. It's Payson Seymour, 38, New Berlin, 34. We're going to be back here in 1 minute on Central Illinois Sports.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome you back live here. New Berlin took the timeout after the 3 ball from Tanner Fry, a desperately needed 3 ball if you're the Pretzels, Damon. They have shot more than we are probably accustomed to seeing the Pretzels take on a given night. And they finally knocked down one after missing quite a few in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, make that 7 of 22 on the game for the Pretzels from behind the line. And for Payson Seymour, they're 6 of 16 from the charity stripe. New Berlin was 5 of 14 at the half, so just 2 of 8 here in the second half. Good practice run right here.
Brian Sorrell gets the basketball reset, and we'll get things going as New Berlin now with full court pressure. We'll see how the Indians respond as Deeker stops across the timeline. Now they quickly get it to Schwartz on the left side. 4 minutes to go here as Payson Seymour threatening the top-ranked team in the state, but that turnover won't help anything as Lane Barker went right and Brian Deeker tried to pass in the opposite direction and a turnover on the Indians.
Probably an instance right there of Brian Deeker maybe being too unselfish. He had a one-on-one opportunity that he could have taken, but tried to get it to Barker for a 3, which they just had the previous possession. Dead ball turnover against the Indians. Pretzels push it into the front court.
Howell with the drive, goes up, no call on the contact. He gets his own rebound. Now he gets it down into Dodd. Dodd will go up off the glass. And just like that, it's back to a 2-point basketball game as Payson Seymour now leads 38-36, 3:40 left to go. Full court pressure again from New Berlin. Schwartz the man in the middle. They try to get it over to Barker. It's stolen away from Howell. Now he gets the take foul in the backcourt to avoid the layup. Does Payson Seymour.
Foul's going to be whistled against Lane Barker. That's his second, 5th team foul. And we'll see Richie Martin back into the ballgame for Payson Seymour. Martin's not going to be in the stat sheet a lot every night, but he's a big glue guy out there. And what's really hurt Payson Seymour in this one has been second chance opportunities. And Martin typically does a good job on the defensive glass whenever they need it. So we'll see if Payson Seymour can get the stop, as New Berlin's got the 2-point deficit but the basketball with 3:20 to play here in the contest.
Still a zone look for Payson Seymour. Ball gets tipped away. Richie Martin almost got it, and it's going to go timeout for New Berlin, as it was a diving play on the floor, and Fry was able to come up with it. It's full timeout. We'll take it too. We're back in 60 seconds. You're watching it all here live on Central Illinois Sports.
Are you short on time or budget, but your family is hungry? It's time for the Maya Authentic Mexican Restaurant in Pittsfield. Try the Maya Special, a crowd favorite. Delicious grilled fajitas, steaks, nachos Mexicano, salads in a tortilla bowl, the tastiest salsa and cheese sauce around, and the fastest service anywhere. You can afford it. It's the Maya Mexican Restaurant on Washington Street. Call ahead with your order and you can pick it up in the drive-thru, 217-285-4526. The Maya Restaurant in Pittsfield.
I'm not sure if there's a better checking account around.
We will pay the highest checking account interest rate that we have right now.
It is a very generous 4.07 APY.
As far as ID Secure goes,
it gives you protection with credit monitoring.
So the peace of mind of that's very nice.
New Berlin took the timeout to avoid the turnover. They'll have the basketball out of bounds here with 3:18 left to go. Payson Seymour leads 38-36 over the top-ranked team in the state here in regional semifinal action at Payson Seymour. If you haven't had enough action tonight, folks, we've got one more game coming up, Damon. We still got Grigsville Perry and Triopia after this one. Dodd with the basketball. Free throw line jumper. In and good for Dodd. He's had a heck of a ball game. We are tied back up at 38-38 here on the Trucks LLC scoreboard with 3 minutes to go in this contest. Deeger with the basketball. The senior leader waits for instruction from Tyler Dushinsky as Payson Seymour gets set.
New Berlin on a 7-0 run.
Dodd trying to close in to get the count started. Deeger drives in, gets stopped at the right elbow. Drives in again. Payson Seymour sitting along the baseline. Now they pop out to Barker, back up to Nyson. 2:40 left to go. It is a packed house here at Payson Seymour, the likes they probably haven't seen in quite a while. Now they get it to Barker. He thought about the three ball, almost gets tipped away. Payson Seymour able to recover, and they pick it back up. 2:27 left. Nyson with it. Still a man-to-man look here for New Berlin as now Bixby tries to close in defensively. Kick it over to the sophomore Barker. Takes a few dribbles, now gets it to Deeger. Deeger, right elbow, picks it up. He's got to get rid of it and find Schwartz. Schwartz is going to drive baseline. He gets stopped by Howell. Thought an elbow might have got thrown there, and he gets away with one. Nyson with the basketball. He's going to try and go baseline. Can't get anything there on the defensive stop from Bixby. 2 minutes left to go in this one. We are tied at 38. So glad you're watching alongside here on Central Illinois Sports. Deeger kicks it now down into Barker. Payson Seymour being very content. New Berlin just the same defensively. 1:45 left to go. Nyson with the basketball. Looking for the pick from Deeger. Nothing there, and they'll try it again. Nyson drives left side. Schwartz trying to flare out. Nothing there on the left side either. Now here comes Deeger. He kicks it now to Lane Barker. Three ball off the rim, no good. Rebound comes down finally into the hands of Ben Hermes. 1:26 to go, and New Berlin's got a chance to reclaim the lead. With the basketball is Kevin Howell back at center court. No defensive count here as now Payson Seymour extends just a little bit, and they get it to Hermes on the right side. He gets the count as he's guarded by Deeger. They were trying to get Bixby at the free throw line. Nothing was there, and now Howell gets it reset. 1:05 left to go here. Damon Emmerich, what's the play?
Well, I think if you're New Berlin, we've seen they're content to hold for one. Payson Seymour doing a good job trapping them in the corner. Gets a turnover. Payson Seymour's got to slow it down right now as they're going to cross the half-court stripe and call a timeout to set up what they want to do with 51.7 seconds. All knotted up here at 38. Payson Seymour will have the basketball when we come back. And actually, we'll just keep it right here, and we'll set the stage here for the remaining 51.7 seconds. Payson Seymour, again, has the basketball. They just got the steal, the 8th turnover of the ball game against the Pretzels. And I think, Brian, I don't think there's any question what two players Coach Tyler Dushinsky wants to have the ball in their hands, and that is going to be Brian Deeker and Wyatt Nyson. But the question here is going to be, at what point do you tell them, let's go for the shot? I think if Payson Seymour can take care of the basketball, and hold for one, you want to try to make that move around the 8-9 second mark.
Well, I don't know if they'll get there. I don't know if New Berlin will be that content to let them take the final shot and try to win. I think you get to 30 seconds, you're going to see some pressure from New Berlin.
But I think what New Berlin needs to do here is Payson Seymour gets the ball inbounds. As they cross the time stripe, if they can't get a steal, foul. New Berlin's only got 2 team fouls. They don't have anybody in foul trouble. Make Payson Seymour reset over and over again and build those fouls up just in case you need it at some point later on down the road here.
50 seconds left in the regulation now as Nison's going to bring it across the time stripe. He'll be double teamed there. Now they get it to Deeker. Free throw line over to Schwartz. 42 seconds left to go. The sophomore back up to the senior as Deeker mans around and floats around the free throw line. Maybe that's where they want the initial pass to go if they can get it there. He gets double teamed. Release foul is Nison. 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Deeker with the basketball. Payson Seymour very content here. With the basketball is Deeker. Now gets it back up to Nison. The 2 seniors floating around back on the left side. Almost tipped away, and now Martin comes up with it, and we'll get a timeout on the floor.
I was going to say, Payson Seymour's got timeouts to use, and they needed one right there as they started to get a little bit helter-skelter at the 27-second mark. We're going to take a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll get you set for the final 27 seconds back after these.
Time to be thinking about tax planning. You can count on Illinois FBFM for accounting, consulting, and tax preparation for farmers and businesses in Pike, Brown, and Adams County. Phone 217-593-7233. That's 593-7233. Illinois FBFM can take care of your farm accounting needs. Get your accounts in order for this tax season. Contact Jesse Shootman, Emily Matthews, and Brad Wellman. Illinois FBFM in Camp Point, working for you.
Back to live action. Payson Seymour took the timeout. 17 seconds remaining as the home team, the Payson Seymour Indians, wearing their road jerseys, trying to upset the top-ranked team in Class 1A here tonight in the New Berlin Pretzels. Brian Shoemaker, Damon Emmerich, Gavin Hilgenbrink on the call for game 1 of 2 tonight here from Payson Seymour. Nison will be the trigger man in front of his own bench. Man-to-man look here for New Berlin. 17 seconds left to go. We are tied at 38. Schwartz pops out to the left. Sparks down to the right, and they get it to Schwartz. 15 seconds now. He's guarded closely by Howell, and that'll be a foul on Howell in the backcourt. Just the 6th foul against New Berlin, Dane.
That's Howell's first. That's actually the 3rd team foul against New Berlin. Payson Seymour with 5. So 12.6 seconds to play. Payson Seymour has to inbound it again. They get it into Deeker.
10 seconds to go. Deeker with the drive on the right side. He'll get fouled by Dodd.
That's Dodd's 2nd, 4th team foul against New Berlin. So ran a little over not quite 3.5 seconds off the clock right there. 9.2 seconds. Payson with the basketball. 4 team fouls against New Berlin. Nison will be the trigger man for the Indians.
Deeker with the basketball on the right side, drives baseline against Dodd. No contact on the call. 3 ball from Barker is good! Lane Barker, the sophomore, knocks it down with 2 seconds to go, and Payson Seymour claims a 41-38 lead with 2.47 seconds left to go. Let's just keep it right here, Damon, because that's a heck of a shot and a heck of a play from the sophomore, Lane Barker.
Man, no fear right there from Barker. He took a big 3 earlier. He made one. Missed one that looked good, and I'll tell you what, it's big right there for him, but what does it say when a senior gives up a chance to win it right there to kick it out for a 3 to the sophomore? That right there, that is team all over, but this ball game is far from over. 2.4 seconds to play. Payson Seymour just regained the lead, and right now, Brian, Payson Seymour, 5 team fouls. New Berlin has to go length of the floor to go, but Payson could afford a foul and make New Berlin inbound it all over again.
Everybody's starting to stand up around the court here. It's the length of the floor to go as the inbounds man will be Hermes. Count is on. They get it into Dodd. Dodd at the half court. He's already knocked one down from there at the buzzer. It's no good. Payson Seymour has upset the #1 team in the state in the New Berlin Pretzels and will advance to the championship game on Friday night. What a win for Tyler Dushinsky. What a win for Payson Seymour. Payson Seymour, 41. New Berlin, 38. We have reached an amazing Illini Community Hospital postgame show that we're going to give you some final stats and more on this one as we catch our breath. We're back in 2 minutes here on Central Illinois Sports.
Illini Community Hospital is committed to providing high-quality specialty care close to home. We are pleased to welcome Dr. William Severino, urologist, and Dr. Mark Mount, ear, nose, and throat physician, to the consulting physician clinic team at the Castile Center. Specialty care is also provided for orthopedics, cardiology, podiatry, obstetrics, oncology, and more. Learn more by visiting IlliniHospital.org or call 217-285-2113, extension 3950 to schedule an appointment.
Damon Plumbing, serving all of Pike County and the surrounding area with quality residential and commercial plumbing services. Damon Plumbing offers septic installation, drain cleaning, new water lines, remodel work for your home, or if you're planning a new build, make sure you include the Damon boys. To get it right the first time, no job too big. Have you seen Braden and Doug? Or too small? Sorry, Corby, couldn't resist. Call Braden at 217-491-5415 or Doug at 217-617-2318. Damon Plumbing, recommended by our family for your family. When you think of fall, what comes to mind besides pumpkins, honey, and football? How about fertilizer? Studies show more than 1/3 of your crop's yield is determined by fertilizer alone. Studies also show as much as 40% potassium and 30% phosphate gets tied up in stalks and residue, as well as high clay content. Nutrient Ag Solutions recommends Titan, which is an innovative fertilizer catalyst designed for use with dry fertilizer blends. Titan will keep nutrients from being tied up and increase fertilizer availability in your crop. Titan is a low-cost option to improve crop fertility. Contact your nutrient crop consultant today.
Welcome you back here on the Illini Community Hospital post-game show. Illini Community Hospital, located in Pittsfield, as part of the Blessing Health System. All sorts of services to serve you, your family, and your loved ones in service to the Pike County area and beyond for over 50 years and more. Learn more at IlliniHospital.org, as we are in a heck of a postseason post-game show for you, as Payson Seymour has upset the #1 team in the state here on Central Illinois Sports, 41-38. Damon Emmerich has a look at your final statistics.
Well, Brian, let's just go through on a quarter-by-quarter breakdown here real quick. After one quarter of play, Payson Seymour trailed 13-6. They trailed 26-22 at the half. They had taken the lead after 3 quarters by a score of 31-29. And the big one for here, Payson Seymour wins it 41-38. Payson Seymour led by as many as 7. They had a 38-31 lead before New Berlin went on a 7-0 run to set us up for the final play of the game. Final bucket of the game, that is, where Lane Barker, the sophomore, hit the 3 for the Payson Seymour Indians. For New Berlin, they led by as many as 7. We had just one lead change in the ball game. We were tied at 3, 26, and 38. And then taking a look at some shooting percentages, New Berlin 13 of 42 from the field for 31%. But Brian, just 4 of 20 in the second half were the Pretzels, whereas Payson Seymour finished 15 of 32 for 47%, including 8 of 12 in the second half of play.
Well, Damon, it's February 22nd. I'd hate to say it's March Madness already, but by gosh, we just ripped the whole lid off the whole kit and caboodle here tonight at Payson Seymour. What a win here tonight.
And to paraphrase Clark Griswold, where's the Tylenol?
Goodness gracious. Well, here's what we're going to do. We are going to reset the streams here for you. We're going to get ready for Griggsville, Perry, and Triopia. So this stream's going to deactivate in a few minutes. You'll see the other one get up. We're going to hope to talk to Tyler Dushinsky at some point, whether that's here between games or during the game. We don't care. We'll love to hear from the head coach from Payson Seymour, who will pull off an upset that will have the state talking for the next 48 hours. We thank you for watching this presentation of Central Illinois Sports. For Brian Shoemaker, Damon Emmerich, and Gavin Hilgenbrink, we're going to shut her down, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes for game number 2. It's the Griggsville Perry Tornadoes taking on the Triopia Trojans. We're back in just a few minutes on Central Illinois Sports.